Hello student, all is well. Welcome you again in the social science class. I was explaining you chapter Our Country India. So let's continue this chapter Our Country India with the topic Northern Plains. The Northern Plains extend from the Jammu and Kashmir in the west to Assam in the east, covering a length of about 2400 km. They lie to the south of the Himalayas and are also popularly known as the Indo-Gangetic Plains. They are vast stretches of land made fertile by the alluvial deposits brought by the river Ganga, Brahmaputra, and Indus and their tributaries. The northern plains can be divided into three parts: the Ganga plain, the Indus plain, and the Brahmaputra plains. The Ganga plains covers a very large part of northern India and extend up to many states like Punjab, Haryana, Uttar Pradesh, Bihar, and West Bengal. These plains are made fertile by the flowing Ganga river and its tributaries like Yamuna, Gomti, Kosi, Gangtok, and Ghagra. These originate from Gangotri in Himalayas and terminate into the Bay of Bengal. The Ganga plain has alluvial soil and plenty of water, which helps in agriculture. Many crops like wheat, rice, sugarcane, and maize are grown in the Ganga plains. And the Indus plain, most of the Indus plain lie in Pakistan with only a part of it in India. The tributaries of river Indus like Ravi, Beas, and Satluj drain this plain in India. It lies to the west of northern plains in Punjab and Haryana. And the Brahmaputra plain, the plains in the eastern part of India are called the Assam plains or the Brahmaputra plains because Brahmaputra river flows through them. River Brahmaputra originates in Tibet where it is known as Tsangpo. It enters India in Arunachal Pradesh and flows through the Assam where it deposits alluvial soil to form a fertile plain before terminating in Bangladesh. Here it meets river Ganga and the combined stream into a large number of channels called tributaries, forming the world's largest delta called Sundarban Delta. River Ganga and Brahmaputra finally drain into the Bay of Bengal. The two main crops grown in the Brahmaputra plain are rice and tea. Now, the Great Indian Desert. The Great Indian Desert lies in the western part of India. This is a dry, hot, and sandy stretch of land. There is a very little vegetation in the region. This is also called a Thar Desert. Spreading over an area more than 2 lakh square kilometers, the Thar Desert is a large arid region in northwestern India, forming a natural boundary between India and Pakistan. It lies mostly in the state of Rajasthan and stretches into southern Haryana, Punjab, and northern Gujarat. On the east, it is bordered by the Aravalli Range and on the south by the salt marsh known as the Run of Kutch. The Indus River borders it on the west. Luni is the only river and Lake Sambar it is a salt water lake here. The man-made Indira Gandhi Canal irrigates the desert carrying water from the river Satluj. So students, this was about the Great Indian Desert. Highlands comprise mainly of three plateaus: the Malwa Plateau in the west, the Chota Nagpur Plateau in the east, and the Deccan Plateau in the south, covering most of the Indian peninsula. The Malwa Plateau is flanked on the north-west by the Aravalli Ranges. It spread across Rajasthan, Madhya Pradesh and Gujarat. The Chota Nagpur Plateau is situated in the eastern India, covers much of Jharkhand and adjacent parts of Odisha, Bihar and Chhattisgarh. The next physical feature of India is Deccan Plateau. The Deccan Plateau is a large triangular plateau bounded by the Vindhyas to the north and flanked by the eastern and western Ghats. The Deccan covers a total area of 1.9 million square kilometer. It is mostly flat with elevations ranging from 300 to 600 meter. It slopes gently from west to east and gives rise to several peninsular rivers such as the Mahanadi, the Godavari, the Krishna and the Kaveri, which drain into the Bay of Bengal, and Narmada and Tapi that flow into the Arabian Sea. The plateau is broadest in the north and is covered by lava flows. It has black soil which is good for cotton cultivation. The plateau spread across the whole of Maharashtra, parts of Gujarat and Madhya Pradesh. There are natural harbors and lagoons in Mumbai and Marmagua and the backwater in Kerala. The rivers of Deccan Plateau are not perennial and depends on the monsoon rains for water. They are less suitable for irrigation and are not easily navigable. Student, as we know that the Deccan Plateau is flanked by the eastern and western Ghats. The western Ghats known as Sahyadri in Maharashtra are formed by the Nilgiri and Anaimudi hills in Tamil Nadu and the Cardamom hills in Kerala. The eastern Ghats with an average height of about 610 meter are lower in the elevation and stretch from West Bengal in the north through Odisha and Andhra Pradesh to Tamil Nadu in the south. The eastern Ghats are broken by valleys and they gently merge with eastern coastal plains. We will discuss about the coastal plains. The coastal plains represent a narrow stretch of plains from north to south along Bay of Bengal in the east and Arabian Sea in the west. The other side where the land rises abruptly forms the Ghat. The western coastal plains lying between the Western Ghat and the Arabian Sea stretches from the Kutch in the north to Kanyakumari in the south. The western coast is known as the Gujarat coast in Gujarat and Konkan coast in Maharashtra stretching from the Gulf of Khambat to Goa, and the Malabar coast in Kerala stretching from Goa to Kanyakumari. The Malabar coast has a number of short streams, lagoons and backwaters. The Konkan coast is bordered and largest seaport of India. Mumbai is located here. The eastern coastal plains lying between the Bay of Bengal and Eastern Ghat is wider and more level than the western plains. It extends from the mouth of Ganga to Kanyakumari. The northern half is called the Northern Sirkars and the southern half is known as the Coromandel coast in Andhra Pradesh and Tamil Nadu. The coastal strip possesses the fertile deltas of Kaveri, Krishna, Godavari and Mahanadi. There are also several lakes of eastern coast, Lake Chilka in Odisha and Lake Kolari and the Pulicat in Andhra Pradesh. So students, here in the map you can see to the west of the Western Ghat and the east of the Eastern Ghat lie to the coastal plains. The western coastal plains are very narrow. The eastern coastal plains are much broader. There are a number of east flowing rivers. The rivers Mahanadi, Godavari, Krishna and Kaveri drain into the Bay of Bengal. These rivers have formed fertile delta at their mouth. The Sundarban Delta is formed where the Ganga and Brahmaputra flow into the Bay of Bengal. Students, the place where a river meets an ocean is called the mouth of river. So students, this is about the coastal plains. Now next we will discuss the island. Islands or India's island chains. Of the coast of the land lie a string of islands of Lakshadweep in the Arabian Sea and the Andaman and Nicobar Islands in the Bay of Bengal. Lakshadweep, meaning 100,000 island, is a group of 36 coral islands in the Arabian Sea. The west coast of Kerala, the islands with the total land area of 32 square kilometer form the smallest union territory of India. 10 of islands are inhabited. Minicoy, with an area of about 5 square kilometer, is the largest island in the Lakshadweep group. The Andaman and the Nicobar Archipelago is a string of 572 islands lying in the Bay of Bengal. Andaman and Nicobar Islands are separated by a sea known as the 10-degree channel. The sea coincides with an 10-degree north latitude, hence the name. Only 36 of these islands are inhabited, out of which 24 are in Andaman and 12 in Nicobar. Most of these islands are mountains and are covered with thick forest. Now it's time to finish this chapter, but before that, do you know what is corals? Corals are skeleton of tiny marine animals called polyps. When the living polyps die, their skeleton are left. Other polyps grow on the top of the hard skeleton, which grows higher and higher, thus forming the coral island. So this was about the meaning of coral. So student, this was our chapter. I hope you all have understood. Now it's time to say goodbye. We will meet again with the new topic. Till then, take care.